Welcome to Fear It Goes, the podcast all about taking your fears with you and doing it anyway. I'm your host, Brandy Taylor. Hello, beautiful souls. It is a fine Monday morning, and I am recording for you today because I've been thinking a lot over this last. I'm recording for you today because I record when I have great thoughts, and I want to share my insights with you because that is the whole point. That is the whole point, is to be able to give you the insights that I glean to be able to make your life better, because it makes my life better. And ultimately, I am very cognitive, very, very, very cognitive and very aware of how much we are truly connected. So I'm thinking a lot over these last few weeks, and I'm going to share something with you that I've been kind of holding to myself because I didn't really want to share it. Because when we get into these spaces, we don't want to share this. We don't want to share. We want to keep this to ourselves because we feel so much shame and guilt around it, or whatever we're feeling. And in my case, it's kind of a combination of both, and plus some other low-grade emotions, because we're in a human experience, and we have the pleasure of experiencing emotions or getting caught in them until we figure out what we're doing. So I'm thinking very much from the space of primitive brain versus your logic center over the last little while. And this morning, everything hits me in a whole new light. But I'm going to back up a bit and tell you. The way that we perceive things, we've talked often about our belief systems and how they drive our actions, and we've talked about the way that we perceive things through lenses or goggles or whatever you want to call them. But there are perspective, and how our perspective can shift on a dime. It can shift so very quickly, and things become so very awesome for us or not, right? So I'm sitting in my own junk for like the last month and a half because I have this scenario that comes up, and it's really upsetting to me. And honestly, anything that comes into your experience in life, okay? So anything that comes in and that has a massive emotional charge with it, it's lingering around, the thoughts won't leave you alone, you're pissed off at somebody, you're upset with someone, you're upset with yourself, whatever it is. All of these are emotionally charged things we need to pay attention to, right? So I'm caught up in the emotion, and truly caught up, and I'm trying. Oh, and I love that word. You all know that I love that word, try. There is no trying. I'm doing or I'm not. So in this case, I'm not. I'm thinking I'm doing, I'm going to release this. I'm doing because I want to release this, but I'm not releasing it because I'm still sitting in the same state. So I'm upset about something that's gone down. I'm upset that someone has felt that I needed to validate anything with them. They felt they deserved that. They felt they needed that. And I felt very resistant to give that validation, but then caught myself giving the validation, right? I have to validate this. I have to validate. It's not about validating people's feelings. It was literally about validating something that they felt was their right to know or their right to impose. And it was really interesting because I kept thinking about this from the space. Like they're imposing this. This is their limiting beliefs. I totally understand what's going on right now. I see it. But what I was not seeing was me. And this is the beauty of this existence in this life. We get to see all the time where we're at. All the time, because our life is always showing us about us. I don't know if I've said this on the podcast, but really life presents for you. And I'm pretty positive I've said this probably a few times, and I will continue to say this because it does. It's always presenting for you. It's such a gift-giving experience. Life is a gift-giving experience. And that's awesome, unless you're not viewing it from that space, which in this case, I was not. And very often we are not. We get caught up in our emotional drag from something we've experienced before. So this sets off a plethora of emotions, this particular argument, disagreement, we have this discussion, this person and myself. It's not going anywhere. It's being derailed, completely derailed, because now it's been sidetracked into something it's not. It's bumping up against a limiting belief of the other person. And this is where I feel I have to validate. It doesn't matter what had actually transpired. What matters is this. They hit limiting beliefs. I recognized that in the beginning. I made comment of that in the beginning, and they just kept bringing it back to what their concern was, really, which was about them. It wasn't about what we were discussing. It wasn't about the topic that was brought up. It was about their limiting beliefs and what they're experiencing. And because of that, then I moved into, I have to validate what they're freaking out about, which really, I didn't have to do that at all. But I moved into that space of I have to validate, because I had to validate me. Because really, ultimately, in the end, life is presenting for me just as much as it's presenting for that other person, right? Why did I have to validate it all? Because somewhere in there, I have always validated me. I've always been, love me for my mind, not my body. Love me for the person I am. Love me for this. Because I always had to validate that, because I didn't feel like I was enough, or I didn't feel loved, or whatever hole I was trying to fill, and I was seeking out validation through others. And we do it all the time. Yay, I got praise. Or, oh, that person said something really mean to me. That person's like, that hurt me. That person is being mean to me. That person made me mad. That person doesn't make you anything. It's your lens and perspective that does, right? I know that. So for a month and a half, I really derailed myself. Like, it's shocking to me when I think about this, because this morning I had this massive epiphany. And it was simple, but not at all. And it took me a while to get here. And I'm going to share it with you, because honestly, this is one of the best gifts you will ever, 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 ever get. So I'm experiencing this over the last month and a half, and I'm turning this over in my head, and I'm turning over these thoughts, and I'm really attempting to rein this in. And the negative thoughts keep popping up, and I know what to do with negative thoughts. I need to find out what's underneath them. I know that. I have all the tools that I teach you. I know that, but I'm human. And I'm caught in my own emotion. And when we're caught in our own emotion, we can't see our solutions. I can spot a solution for anybody in seconds. I can tell you within the first 10 minutes of sitting with you what's going on with you and limiting beliefs. If you're open with me, I can spot it very, very quickly. Can I do that with myself? Sometimes. Not always, because I'm caught up in my own stuff. This is why it's so helpful to have people who work with us, who can be really honest with us in a kind way, but be honest with us and call us out on our bullshit, because we're constantly feeding ourselves bullshit. And this is why. We have our awesome primitive brain, which has done absolute wonders for us. Okay, so our fear center is beautiful. It's wonderful. And I do appreciate the gifts it has given me in this life. And this is what it does. It teaches you how to be safe. It keeps you in the safe. That's really the only job of the primitive brain. It's been around forever and ever and with us the whole time. The thing is, you have about 60,000 thoughts that cross your mind on any given day. About 60,000. That's a lot of thoughts, right? It's a lot. Out of those thoughts, about 70% of them are negative. Why? That is your primitive brain at work. So, primitive brain does this. It says, okay, you've done this before. It's familiar. I know it. So we're talking comfort zones here, right? I know it. Doesn't matter if that comfort zone is you being angry. Doesn't matter if that comfort zone is you blaming other people. Doesn't matter if that comfort zone is you being happy. It doesn't matter. It just knows it, right? It's the zone of what you know. The known versus the unknown. The familiar versus the unfamiliar. So your primitive brain says, I know this, therefore I can predict a probable outcome. because we've done this before. So if we've done this and we've done this and we've done this, this is the most likely outcome. Therefore, I can protect you, because predictable patterns create predictable outcomes, which perpetuate a solution for your brain. It's like, yeah, we can protect you. And that's its primary job. So every time you have these thoughts that are like, this person, this, or, oh, why am I doing this? This is so crazy. I can't do this. I don't have 15 degrees. Who am I? When you have these thoughts coming in, the fear, the doubt, and fear comes in a million different ways. A million different ways. It's sneaky. It's so awesome the way it functions. You have to recognize it for what it is. And if you don't recognize it, you can't change it. Awareness is crazy. It's crazy. And there are times when awareness is not so easy. I sat in it for a month and a half, working with tools I know, and still had moments where it was really taking me down. We talked in a previous episode about emotions. Somewhere like in the teens, lower teens, there's a podcast on emotions. And it talks about the frequencies of emotions. And you can feel them in your body, right? When you're angry, you feel heavy. When you're sad, you feel really heavy. When you feel guilty and shame, you feel super heavy. It's really interesting if you pay attention to how your body is feeling. Your body's a massive tell. Like, it's always telling you things. Become acquainted with your body. Make it the familiar, because your body is your best guide. It's one of your best guides. That in your mind. And I don't mean the one that you're thinking with right now. We talk about meditation too, and there's a reason for that. I felt heavy and really heavy over these last few weeks, and really caught up in this, like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? And I know my why. I know why I put myself out there with you guys. I know why I share the things I do with you. I know why I put it all out on the table. I do this because we're all connected. There is no separation from you to me. We are all energy. We are all moving through with slightly different coding to our energy. That's it. We're all here in this existence with a slightly different coding. But you are part of me and I am part of you. We are all one collective energy. And when I look from that space and stop separating myself, and because separation is what makes us feel alone, and we're seeking the connection. We're always seeking the connection. The connection is what drives us, what really truly creates wholeness, what truly creates a happy. If I am always feeling like I'm connected, I don't feel alone, ever. Why are we seeking out communities on Facebook? Why are we seeking out communities when we're doing work together? Why are we seeking out these things that bring us into a collective space? Because that's us in wholeness. We are meant to be, yes, unique in our space that we are in here, because we are in the human experience. We are in the human experience. Therefore, we experience emotions that do all these crazy, awesome things to our bodies and tell us to get connected. So here's the key. I tell you, this last month and a half has been crazy. Ups, downs, totally like connecting and then totally disconnecting, resisting, fighting, getting drawn back into the primitive mind. Just drawn back into the human experience, right? And then I'm unhappy. And I know me. I'm a pretty happy person. And I come across as happy too. And for all of you, before I give you this key, for all of you that are out there doing this, how are you? Oh, I'm great. Thanks. How are you? When really you're really suffering inside. Don't do that. Connect with someone. Be real with someone. I mean, choose your people. Some people are not going to connect with you the way you want or need them to. But reach out to the people that you know and love, and that love you. Reach out. If you are feeling isolated, it's because you're feeling disconnected. And our natural response, this is so messed up. One of our natural responses when we go into this state of anxiety, depression, super overstress is either to lash out at people because we're pushing them away, or we isolate. The thing is, we are all connected. So what do I do this morning? I'm thinking about a conversation I had with my friend. We talk a lot because we live in different cities. I miss him a lot. He's an amazing person. And we've always been just had this incredible connection. So we're talking about something that he witnessed. And he's like, it totally made me, it really, really hit me how beautiful it was and how beautiful humans can be. And I said, yes, humans are so beautiful. And I'm also thinking in that moment, full disclosure here, human being, right? Full disclosure. I'm also thinking humans can be extremely destructive. Humans can be extremely hurtful. Humans can be a lot of things. But in this moment that he's sharing, he's experienced something that's really beautiful and meaningful and connected from what he's seen. So he sees this parade, and it's just this amazing parade. And the message that the parade is sending out is just beautiful. So I said to him, I love the way your mind works. I love that heart of yours. And he says, it's because it's your heart. Because we're all one, remember? Because we've talked about this a million times. I've talked to him about how we are all one. And it hits me this morning. I'm thinking about this conversation with him, and it hits me. We are all one. And when I am not loving someone else, it's because I'm not loving me. When I am sending out all this negativity, I'm angry with you, you've upset me, blah, 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 blah. It's all bullshit I'm telling myself to keep me in it. Right? I'm emotionally attached. When I shift that emotion, when I choose, because this is a choice. And let me tell you, again, a month and a half, it wasn't an easy choice. It was hard. Or I'm very stubborn. Probably more the latter. When we choose to shift the emotion and we stop seeing it through the lens of angry, hurt, whatever we're choosing in that moment. And it's so a choice. I'm not saying it's the easy choice. It's not always the easy choice. And especially when we're not well trained to make the choices that really help us. But when we shift our focus, and I kept butting up against this is so wrong that you've pushed your thoughts on me. You've pushed your opinions on me. You've done this to me. What am I doing? Again, I'm in a victim state. Right? You're doing this to me. No, I'm choosing it. I'm choosing it. And I'm talking to my son about this last night because he's choosing to take all these people's mean words in. These kids have said all these horrible things to me. They were so mean to me. And he's crying. And I said to him, people are going to say what they're going to say. They're going to throw their stuff around because they're hurting. We say mean things because we're hurting. Because we're disconnected. We're disconnected from us. So this morning instead, as this shifts and as I see this for what it is, I think to myself, oh my God, I'm not loving me in this at all. I'm not loving anybody in this. I'm actually doing quite the opposite. And I'd been feeling heavy. So I send out, I wish you, instead of wishing, I'm sending you the energy of money. I'm sending you the energy of abundance and absolute love so that you don't feel you need to do this. You don't feel you need to act this way with other people. You don't feel you need to say these things that are hurtful. Because they're hurtful to me. They were hurtful to me. But really, in the end, it's because they're hurting. People say things and do things because they're hurting. And then they just throw their hurt on us. And what do? We get hurt. Because we take it in for what it is not. It's their hurt. And then it hurts us and we perpetuate the cycle of hurt instead of shifted. I see you're hurting. I know this hurts. This really sucks. Instead, I'm going to send you love. I'm going to give you everything you need as much as I can until you can receive it. And that's another thing. We talked a lot about giving and receiving, and if we haven't, I should really do a full podcast on giving and receiving. But I'm going to give you the lowdown, the real quick lowdown. Giving and receiving is the same thing. You have one stick. On one side is giving. On the other side is receiving. On one side is hatred. On the other side is love. On one side is anger. On the other side is joy. Where are you holding your stick? Where are you holding it? This is our job, is to find the balance that allows us to experience both, but recognize them for what they are. I can't be in those two states at the same time. I cannot be loving and hating at the same time. I can't. Because they're different vibrations. But they are the same thing. When it comes to giving and receiving, if I can't receive your gift, I am not giving you back the joy that you receive from that giving of the gift. There is both in giving of a gift. There's both giving and receiving. And it's a continuous cycle that keeps going back and forth with that gift. So this morning I gave out love because that's what I felt was missing. And then everything in my body changed. I went from heavy to feeling light. I went from heavy to feeling like I felt like I was vibrating. My whole body felt alive. I was super excited. Smile came across my face. I felt happy. I felt all the things I'd been missing that I was looking for in the last month and a half, on and off, because I kept filling it from other spaces, but it was temporary fixes. We receive what we put out. If I am putting out a bunch of anger, I just get a bunch of anger back. If I'm putting out a bunch of hate, I'm so mad at you, I'm blaming you, guess what? That's what I'm getting back. We're sending out, I talked about energy. We're sending out a vibration. We're sending out an energy, a space of energy that is not what we want. I don't want anger coming back at me. I don't want bitterness coming back at me. I don't want resentment coming back at me. I don't want all these things coming back at me. Life is presenting for you. So the gift here is to shift the emotion. Your little science experiment with yourself over the next little while is to pay attention to something that's really pulling you down. So you have some negative thoughts that are coming in. Someone's pissed you off. Something has happened that's really upsetting you. Okay, so talking to my girlfriend today, and we're talking about some issues she's having with a business that she's running, and some of the issues within that. And it's frustrating, right? These are the things that our lives are showing us. So how can you shift the emotion and change it? Because she's frustrated because of very specific things that she's experiencing in the business. How can you shift it to get the opposite? How can you shift it to get what you want? Are we really truly looking at what we want? Or are we looking at all the things and focusing on all the things we don't want? Because guess what? Your primitive brain wants to focus on all the things it doesn't matter if you want it or don't want it. Your primitive brain just wants to work in the space of I know it. And more often than not, we're focused on the things we don't want. It keeps us in it. You want an incredible life that's going to give you absolute joy, absolute excitement, absolute adventure. You need to learn how to shift the emotions and start giving what you want. If you want more of something, give it. I want more. I want beautiful souls out in the world. So I'm going to give a beautiful soul. I'm going to keep giving you everything I can to give you the beautiful souls that you are underneath the world that we see outside us, our storefront. It's like us looking in, not really realizing that what's inside is where the goods are. So I said, go out and look at whatever emotional charge you're getting from something that is not what you want. Okay? Not what you want. If it's making you mad, if it's hurting you, if it's making you feel sad, it's not what you want. All these low-grade emotions are never what we want. They pull us down. They're telling us things. You're going to look at, how do I shift this? What's the opposite? If I'm feeling mad, I need to what? It's because I'm hurting. Why am I feeling mad? Because I'm hurting. Why am I hurting? Because this person did this, right? Or this person said this. So why would they do that? Why would they say that? Oh, because they're hurting too. Because that's what I'm feeling. I'm getting their hurt, right? I'm getting their anger. So I'm going to send them the opposite. I'm going to send you love. I'm going to send you appreciation. I'm going to send you, like, this person, their fear is around money. Their fear is around lack. So I'm going to send them abundance. I'm going to send them all the abundance I can possibly wish upon them, send them, gift them. I am going to send this out on an energetic level because that's what they're lacking. And all I can do is keep sending this out. If they receive it, they receive it. That's up to them. But I'm giving it. And let me tell you, your energy will shift so quickly and you will feel so much better because you've let go and you've given you the love you need and they need. When we give ourselves love, it's not just from a space of I love myself. It isn't. And this is what I realized this morning. We're all connected. If I keep looking at myself as separate, truly separate, I'm already in a state of lack. I'm missing out on the biggest part of me, which is collective all. I am all. I am energy, and energy is all connected. There is no separation. It's a big woven fabric throughout the universe. It's a beautiful thing about science and technology and where it's gotten to today. Space is not space and emptiness. It's all connected. And that's us. We're all connected. So if I just keep putting out what I want to receive, I want to receive love. I want to receive abundance. I want to receive the amazing, happy, joy, bliss, excitement, adventure, energy, like just such awesome energy in my day. Then that's what I'm going to give because that's what I need and that's what they need because we're all one, right? How would you feel if on your worst day, you're just like everything felt like it was just going wrong? The kids were screwing up your out of the door time, which happens to me a lot. Or someone called you and told you some horrible things or whatever. How would you feel if you could turn that around? If you could turn that around, or if someone saw you for you instead of you in that moment. Because us in our moments often are not who we really are. There are often influences from our external world that create environments where our emotions are raging high. Well, or actually dragging us very low, and we're not our best. And in those moments, to be able to be seen for the person you really are, the good, kind, awesome, amazing, beautiful person, beautiful soul that you are, in those moments tend to be far and few between. So if we can gift that to someone else, what a gift that is. I'm positive I shared this story with you guys before about the person that came up when I was in the midst of postpartum, which I didn't know at the time. And I was dropping the kids off for a birthday party and I was just angry, whatever I was. I don't know. I was just in a very bad mood. And I was having a bad day because I didn't see things in moments at that time. I saw them in days and weeks. But this person came up to me and said, I just want you to know you're beautiful. And then walked away. And I didn't take it at all as you're pretty. I took it very much from the space as he saw me because that's what it felt like. He stopped me. He looked at me. It looked like he was looking right into my soul and said, I just want you to know you're beautiful. And then walked away. And it was the best gift oh my God, I still talk about this today because it was so profound in that moment. So when we can give something, even when we see it another way, if we could shift our perspective and see people for who they are, they're hurting in those moments, we can give them love. We give ourselves the ultimate love in that experience right then and there, and we shift everything about us. You want to be like the 5-year-old kid, like I was with my kids 2 weeks ago. This is so funny. I have to share this before I go. So I came across this physicist, and I'm absolutely enamored by him. His name's Nassim Haramein, and he is a fascinating physicist. Fascinating. I watched numerous of his lectures. So I spent a whole day listening to lectures of his online. And I love him. I love his mind. It's beautiful and so exciting. So I'm telling my kids about what he's working on right now, because he's working on gravity control, flying cars, travel through wormholes. It's incredible where we're at with technology and how fast it's advancing. But anyways, back to this physicist. It's hilarious. So I pick up my kids from school, and I'm not kidding. I am like a 5-year-old kid on Christmas morning. So excited. So excited. I'm so stoked. I'm telling them all about the stuff that I've learned from the day. And they're literally looking at me like, what the hell's wrong with you? And I'm like going off like I am now. Super excited, because that's the way we can be in any given day. We can shift the emotions. And you can shift them periodically, which is what I did less than 2 weeks ago. And I just told you, I spent a month and a half in this kind of up, down, screwed up zone. In and out, in and out. And the second time I went into it, like I would rise myself out and then go back into it. And it felt heavier the second time and the third time, because I'm still dwelling on it, not dealing, right? I'm not releasing. I'm still dealing. I'm still processing to get to the point that I did this morning. Anyways, my kids are looking at me, laughing at me, and I am super excited. And that's what you can be. You can be. You can walk through your life in a me kind of way. Yeah, it's okay. How are you? Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How are things? Nice. Yeah, it's nice. Or you can be fully alive and have those moments when you run across a physicist that gets you super excited, because I love science and I love seeing the progression, but I also see the flaws in it, because up until 20, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, we believed space was empty. At one point, we believed the planet was flat. We've come a long way, and we can go so much further. You're open-minded, or you wouldn't be listening to this podcast. I love that you're open-minded, and because you are open-minded, that means that you can look at things from a different perspective. I said I love science because it builds on itself. You can too. This relates to your world and the way that you get to experience your life from an exciting space or a meh space, a participant space or a bystander space, a space that you absolutely love to create or a space that's just happening to you. How would you feel if you knew you have the power within you to change anything that you experience in life? For those of you who are experiencing those moments, okay, so I just talked about moments of it got worse. The more you sink into these thoughts and feelings that are dragging you down, it gets worse. I went from feeling kind of mad to kind of resentful to kind of blaming, and then into lower and lower grades, into feeling really down on myself. So when we get to these points where we are depressed, how do you pull yourself out of them? What are you doing with your thoughts? If you don't want to be sad, you need to give love. I know it seems like you're giving it from an empty space, but when we bring that out and we shift that energy, it shifts our own. Send out love to those people that hurt you. I'm telling you, do this on a small scale. Like someone that you feel that, you're kind of mad about, or because again, we can't deny that we have these emotions and that we feel this way with people and that people make us upset. Oh, people make us, right? They don't really, but we do. So we have these experiences where we get upset. Take that as an opportunity and just give them love. Send them love. Send them loving thoughts to you in that moment when you're not acting your best. Your best friend's going to see you for who you are and love you for who you are, even when you're not being your best. And they're going to gift you all that you need. So that's what you're going to do energetically. You're just going to send it out. You're going to think all these great things about these experiences that you're having that aren't driving what you want and how you want to experience your life. And I'm telling you, you will physically feel that shift. You'll physically feel it. And it's amazing when you do. Go out and be amazing today. Go out and give someone love in some way, shape, or form, because then you're giving yourself love too. This will land on you in a way that it resonates and really gets encompassed in your being. And that you take this forward and you assimilate it into your life and you use this tool and this gift I'm giving you today. And if you need clarification, if I'm not being clear enough, if there's something that you find you need more of, contact me. Contact me. I would happily explain this in better ways, new ways, different ways. I'm good at adapting to how you learn so that you get what you need, because that's why I'm here. I'm here to raise you up. And on that note, beautiful souls, we're going to wrap up this podcast, and I'm going to wrap up this lesson and the sharing today. And I'm going to tell you how much abundance I am sending out to you, all of you. I'm sending out so much love to you because we all need it. We are absolutely connected, and I love myself enough. Oh, I love myself enough to know that I love you all. So I'm sending out massive love and light to you, all that makes you rise up and feel amazing and gives you the boost of energy that you want and need every single day. So you are jumping out of your beds with super excitement because that's what you want to be. Because that's what you want to be. You want to feel awesome. If you have some ideas for something you want discussed on the podcast, please send through messages on the website through comments or direct email. You could send it to info@fearitgoes.com, or you could send it directly to me at brandy@fearitgoes.com, but actually probably send it to the info because that would be great. Because then I can kind of keep that cataloged as information that you guys want sent out. I had some really great responses from the sex series. I want to thank you so much for being listeners in that and being participants. I hope you gained just as much clarity on some things about yourself and some things about other people. Really, some things about yourself, because that's the whole point, is to be able to look at ourselves and go, is this what I want? Is this what I want? Is this not what I want? And yes, I did challenge you in some ways. I put out some stuff in those episodes that really should have had you questioning. And I hope it did. And I hope it's raised some questions in you that help you be a better you. I want the unfamiliar to become my familiar, and I want my world to be alive. And I want your world to be alive too. Peeps, go check out Fear It Goes. If you have not signed up for our newsletter, you're missing out, man. I send off some really good stuff in those newsletters, and it's not the same as what I send out in this podcast. If you are ready, if you are even questioning whether or not you're ready, you're probably ready to take steps to move into a direction that's going to really help you feel alive and so passionate about your own life. If you're at that stage, contact me. I love working with you. I love working with you. Stand up for you. I stand up for you. I love working with you because that's my only goal. That's my main goal here, is to help you be a better you and to love you all. My goal is love. That's my inner, deep down purpose in life, is to give love and to give true love out to the world, unconditional, no matter what. And that's what I do. So if you are ready to take a step, contact me, because I am ready to serve you. If you are ready to take a step and listen to read some newsletters, then by all means, they come out once a week. I do not spam anybody, and I absolutely respect your privacy, and I don't send out your emails to anywhere else. And if you are in Calgary or in Edmonton, I have a couple upcoming speaking events. They are posted on the website. And if you are in Calgary, I have tickets to the one here. It's going to be an amazing day. And Christina is actually our guest next week for Courageous Self-Care. And the festival is called the Courageous Self-Care Festival. It's a whole day of all these different amazing tools that you have available to you to really create an incredible practice for self-care. Because We can't help anybody else if we are coming from a state of lack. So this is why we talk about love. And if I'm not loving me, I'm not loving anybody else, right? We just talked about this. So if you would like some tickets, contact me. I have some tickets available, and the first 20 of you to contact me will have tickets. The rest, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'll be able to give you any. So first 20 of you, contact me and I'll give you tickets. It's going to be an amazing day. There's a whole bunch of freebies and some amazing speakers that are going to give you tools and elevate you. There's no way you won't leave with something amazing. What an incredible way to spend a day. Loving you. All right. Love and light, you beautiful souls. I'm so excited to bring you next week, and I'm so excited to keep giving you everything I can. Until next week, beautiful souls, have an absolutely extraordinary, exceptional week.